Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Even if you just want to inquire about price, reach out to me at tmosso@thewatchbox.com for this or a watch you see on any of our platforms. That is tmosso@thewatchbox.com. In 2020, Czapek launched its first true sports watch, the Antarctique. What we have today is the Antarctique Monochrome White. It was the second monochrome watches subscription series from the well-known online watch journal. This is the Monochrome White dial, a limited edition of 33 pieces for the 2021 model year. So it is both Monochrome's subscription to and Czapek's collaboration with Monochrome. Stainless steel in construction. It is 40.5 millimeters in diameter, 11.3 millimeters thick. Lug-to-lug, if we just measure the case, that is the case absent the end links of the bracelet, it is 44.5 millimeters across the wrist. If we measure the outermost rigid dimension, that is the horizontal distance we cannot compress any further, the total distance across the wrist is 51 millimeters. On my wrist, it wears beautifully. It's very compact. The thin profile really makes it versatile, so no problem fitting this underneath the cuff. I'm also going to recommend it for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference, and on the white rubber strap that comes with it, I believe it would even work on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, opening up unisex possibilities. Down the barrel, you can see how much clearance I have. The lugs are not over the edge of my wrist, and that's confirmed by looking out over the top. Cuff shot one more time, and now the bracelet. This is an integrated bracelet sports watch, a very popular category, but not all are created equal. This is one of the best because, as you can see, not only is it integrated, but it works with a quick release system. You turn this dial on the bottom and it releases the bracelet from the case, so you can easily swap out to the accessory strap in rubber without using a tool. The taper is pretty progressive, down from the sweep of the lug profiles all the way to the clasp. We have polished intermediates, satin finished primaries, and as you can see, we have bars fixing each one of these removable links, which gives you the ability to size it if you've got a block and a punch. Now, there's a little bit more going on here because we have a micro adjust built in on each side of the clasp. So if you want to fine tune, you can see you have about 1.5 millimeters of adjustable range built into the clasp, just like that. It is a twin trigger double deployant. You can see when it's closed, you see the Czapek logo, and with the twin triggers, you have an assurance that it's not going to pop open accidentally. You have to press both, not one at a time, making this a real sports watch. In profile, you can see that the links have been satinated, and we do have quite a few removable links, so you're going to find the right size and the right fit. Taking a look in profile, removable, relief, and giving it a little bit of a case hollow profile. Everything's satinated on the lug hoods, on the case top, on the profile, with the exception of micro beveling on the crown guards. Take a look at the crown, both polished and media blasted, referencing the historic Czapek company. The modern iteration came about in 2013, and you can see we have a bezel with 3 planes. The first is vertical, satin finished, and outboard. You can see it sits on a radially grained case hood, and then the primary facet is conical and polished. Then if you look very closely, you can see there's a flat face that sits flush to this dramatically boxed and cambered sapphire, designed to give it a little bit of loft and maybe even a bit of vintage plexiglass look. It is a screw-down crown. The watch is 120 meters water resistant, and there is no shortage of luminescence, as you could see in this lume shot. Now, specific to the monochrome white is this monochromatic white dial. It's grained, as you can see. It doesn't have a directional sunburst. Some companies would call this opaline, but I would even say it's a bit more deeply grained with a more obvious texture than a Patek Philippe opaline matte. You'll also appreciate that there's a brushed concentric metallic pattern underneath the hour track outboard that can be used for reading your minutes and seconds. The individual indices are dramatically faceted with a bit of a contrast from surface to surface and applied by hand to create a lovely three-dimensional effect. The same treatment has been lavished on the hands, and note that the terminal point of each index manages to match that of the hands. The prototypes shown had a red varnished tip to the seconds hand. Here you can see the entire seconds hand, whose counterweight is actually the Czapek logo. That is entirely varnished red. And then we have a little facet down to the date disc. I always like having a bit of a facet with a sloped plane down to the disc, not a sheer cut through the dial. Gives it a little bit more refinement. Attention to detail is strong too, as you can see that the font used on the date disc for the 1 and the 2 is the same used for the numeral up at 12 o'clock. A lot of watch brands get that wrong. Now the watch has 2 subsidiary setting modes. You've got a hacking seconds function, then you've also got a quick set system for the date, and a wonderfully serify font chosen for the date disc. It's a 4 Hz beat rate. The watch is automatic winding with a 56-hour power reserve. On the reverse side, you can see the movement SXH5. Created by a team led by watchmaking master Emmanuel Boucher, who created the Harry Winston Opus 12. It fills the case back well. You can see this is 1 out of 33, and it is a micro rotor auto, which gives you a couple of advantages. First, you get the big open caseback vista to appreciate everything like you do with a manual wind. Second, you get the thin profile that you would get with a manual wind. And third, you get the convenience of automatic winding. Now, there's a lot to love here, so let's just start from the rotor and work our way over. As you can see here, it is made of platinum. Now, these Antarctique models have come with both rose gold and platinum, though platinum is the more efficient winder because of its greater mass, so it's nice to see it here. You can see there is a machine bevel, satination, and then media blast, but the real highlight is that this is recycled platinum, which I find immensely humorous because there is not an epidemic of discarded junk platinum on our beaches and in our oceans. If there's any metal in existence that's likely to get recycled without too much pressure, platinum would probably be it, but it's nice to know they're repurposing something discarded. Now, looking below that, you can see not only is the base of the rotor equipped with ceramic ball bearings, but so is the intermediate wheel adjacent to it, giving the winding train exceptional efficiency. I rarely see double ceramic bearings. You can also appreciate that we've got a large barrel. All this pivots on 28 joules. It's adjusted in a chronometer style 5 positions. We have a free sprung balance with a full balance bridge, and those two features together making for a very shock tolerant movement. And it beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, a high beat rate particularly suited to a sports watch. The train architecture is handsome all the way down from the barrel. You can see we have individual finger bridges for the wheels of the train, my favorite being the one at center, which features black polish on its top, mirrored beveling on its sides, and then not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 sharp interior angles within its steel recesses where bevels meet and create those sharp inward creases. Difficult to do with brass, even harder to do with steel. All screw heads are black polished, probably with a lapping paper, and then beveled within their slots and around their circumference. Not only do we have satination on the train wheels, we have it on the ratchet wheel atop the barrel. You can see the barrel has been solarized. And then if you look carefully, you can see each one of the primary bridges is recessed with a media blast internally. Then it has a satin channel raised around its edge. And although it's a little bit difficult to show you, I think you can sort of see it from this angle, each one of those bridges also features mirrored anglage on its side. We also have mirrored anglage for each of the recesses for the jewels, so a high degree of detailing. It's really very, very impressive, and it is the second Monochrome Watches subscription series watch. This watch has it all. Lots to love. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.